Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tasker's Barbecue Supply. I'm Steven, and today we're going to show you how to make a beautiful smoked pork loin. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button up above so that you get informed of all future videos that we make. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please drop them in the comments below. We'd love to try out your recipes. And please don't be afraid to comment. We love criticism, we'd like to improve. If there's anything you see that we could do to improve, let us know. Hope you enjoy the video, and we'll see you back soon. Welcome back everyone. Today's recipe is going to be something simple. We'll just have 3 standard ingredients. We're not doing anything elaborate. This is going to be great if you just want to throw something on the grill for a weekend barbecue or you're kind of pressed on time. Now this started out as a whole pork loin. We find it's a little bit cheaper to buy it as a whole. I've cut a little over half of it off to keep for our whole smoked pork loin. The other part of it we just trim up into some thick cut boneless pork chops. So if you like boneless pork chops, it's a great option. You can cut half of it up, leave the other half go. You can use it to smoke on the grill. Or, if you want, cut it in half, you have 2 meals out of 1 pork loin. Choice is up to you, but it's some good options to go with. So today, we're going to be smoking this whole pork loin on our pellet grill. And we're going to be using, of course, some cooking pellets. Now this time we're going to use a little something different. We're going to use their apple mash. Their apple mash is actually a sweet maple wood mixed with apple mash, and what the apple mash actually is dried apples from an apple cider distillery. So you get true apple fruit in the pellet. You can't get much more flavor than that. It's great for low smokes, nothing really over 300. It's good for the nice low stuff, but it's really great for white meats, pork. It gives a good sweetness, not a heavy smoke flavor. I think it's going to go fabulous with our pork loin today. So let's get started on seasoning this up. We're going to start off with a thin layer of yellow mustard as a binder. It's not going to take a whole lot. We just want to get a nice coat over top of it. Again, like I've described in my other videos, you're not going to taste the mustard flavor. It's mostly just to help your seasoning stick. The vinegar in the mustard helps a little bit, but it's mostly just to give something to stick to. I've seen people using barbecue sauce as a binder, plain oils. Everything works great. This is just our binder of choice. So now that we've got the top done, we're going to add a couple spoonfuls of dark brown sugar. We like to do our pork loins a little bit of sweetness, almost like we do to our ribs. So we're going to put a couple spoonfuls over top. We'll just kind of rub that in. You want to make sure to get the sides really well. Get your ends. And if you need some more, it's no big deal. We need a little bit more. Now you can use light brown sugar also. The only real difference is the amount of molasses in it. So we like the dark brown on our pork loins because it gives it a real good sweetness. On my ribs I usually do the light brown because I think it gives it a better color. As far as texture and flavor, you don't notice a whole lot, but I like it for the color. So now that we've got that done, we're going to flip this over and do the other side the same way. Now you can see I've left the fat cap on this. I like to leave the fat caps on when I'm smoking them whole. I usually smoke with the fat cap down just to kind of protect the meat. But when I take this out, I wrap it up and put it in a cooler after it's done smoking to rest for a little bit. And I put the fat cap up so that as it cools down, all that fat seeps down through the meat and just makes it super tender. So let's do the same thing to this side. Okay, now that we've got the mustard and the brown sugar on our fat cap side, we're going to go ahead and put our seasoning on this. We'll flip it back over and then season our top, and we'll just let it set for a little while we get the grill up to temperature and get it ready to go. Now today, of course, we're going to be using some of Killer Hog's The Barbecue Rub. The Barbecue Rub's got a nice sweetness to it with a little bit of heat, but not much. I think it goes well with some brown sugar on these. It gives it that good sweet flavor with a little bit of barbecue tang to it. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit on the top here. Make sure we get our sides. And that's pretty well all we need. Now we're going to flip this over. As you can see, we lost a little bit of our brown sugar. It happens. You can put a little bit on to help it out. Some of it just sticks to the cutting board when you flip it over. Just like that. Then we're going to sprinkle our Killer Hogs over top. And that Killer Hogs is really going to make a nice bark on this after it sits in the smoker. Make sure you get all the sides really well. And there we go. So we're going to let this set for at least an hour or so, just let everything tack up. We're going to get the grill up to temperature, and we'll see you guys outside when we put it on the grill. Alright, welcome back everybody. We're out at our pellet grill, and we're ready to get this pork loin put on. We're running our pellet grill at 225 degrees today. That's perfect with that apple mash because it's nice and low. Gives us a nice rolling smoke the whole time. This pork loin, I'm going to estimate it's going to take right about the 3.5 hour mark. We're going to put our temperature probe in so we can monitor it from our phone. After the 1 hour mark, I'm going to start to come out and spritz it with a mix of apple juice and apple cider, and I mix it about 50-50. That way we get a little bit of that apple juice on there, and the apple cider vinegar helps a lot with the tenderization, gives a little bit of tang along with the barbecue seasoning that's on this. So as you can see, we've let this set for a little bit. The juices start to come out of the pork loin a little bit. It tacks up our seasonings really well, gets everything stuck good. That's going to help create that really good bark that we want to see. So we're going to go ahead and get this on the grill. We're going to run it at 225. Watch our temperature probes. Like I said, after the 1 hour mark, we're going to start spritzing it, probably about every half hour to 45 minutes until it's ready to go. After that, we're going to take it and wrap it up in some foil, flip it fat side up. Just let it sit either on the counter or on a cooler for about 30-45 minutes just to help it get a little bit juicy, tenderize it a little bit after it cooks. Then it'll be ready to slice up and eat. So let's get this puppy on the grill. And I'm just going to place it right in the center of the rack. And then we're going to get our temperature probe in here. And I'm just going to go right in the center of this pork loin with that temperature probe and run it about halfway in, at least 1/3. That way it's near the center of that pork loin. You don't want it out on the outskirts because you're going to get an off reading. You want to get the very center of that. So we'll just watch our temperature probe from here. We'll be back out later to spritz it, and we'll see you guys back soon. Welcome back everyone. It's been just over an hour since we put this pork loin on at 225. It's time to start spritzing. We're going to start spritzing this with a 50-50 mix of apple juice and apple cider vinegar. I like that mix ratio because the apple juice gives it a nice sweetness, keeps the moisture level up, where the apple cider vinegar still gives it a little bit of sweetness, but it does give it that tang from the vinegar, and it mixes well with the Killer Hog's barbecue rub. So I think it works out well. Now we're going to be using a new product today for our spritzing. We're going to be using the Stihl SG11. Now this is a sprayer from Stihl. It's really meant for weeds, anything like that, but we sanitize this out with some bleach hot water, and it is perfectly good to use for food products. Just have to make sure you keep it very clean. we're lucky in our store that we sell all of our products out of, that I also own, is Green Acres Power Sports. And we're a steel distributor, so I can pick these up here. You can also pick them up there, and I keep them along with my grills and everything because they're a great option for those of you that like to spritz your ribs, anything like that. So we've got our mix in there, and all we have to do is pump it up a little bit. And this thing's perfect. It gives a great mist. It's not the best for streams, but it's not meant for that. It's great for misting. It's really meant for like flowers, things like that, if you need to spray anything over them. But it works well for the meat and everything we have here. So we're just going to pump it up a little bit and then spray our pork loin down. And we don't need a whole lot. We just want to get a nice even coating over everything. Just like that. So we're going to shut this lid back up and just let it keep doing its thing. We're going to be looking for that 155 to 160 mark on our internal temperatures before we take it off. When we do take it off, again, we're going to wrap it up a little bit, put it in a cooler or set it on our counter and let it set for a little while before we do end up slicing it. But for now, we're just going to let it ride. We'll be back here spritzing it probably about every half an hour from here till we hit our internal temperature of 160. So we'll see you guys back once we get ready to slice it. Alright everyone, we're back out at the grill. Our pork loin has reached about 153 degrees internal temperature. It's almost to that point where we're going to get ready and pull it off. We've been spritzing about every 30 minutes since we started. It's got a beautiful color to it. It smells amazing. We're going to go ahead and spritz one more time, and then we're going to throw something else on to go with our meal tonight. My wife prepared up some portobello mushrooms. She made a garlic and cream cheese mixture to go down inside of it, and then topped it off with some thick grated medium cheddar. So we're going to toss those onto the pellet grill, let them get some smoke, and warm up all the ingredients inside while it's finishing up on the pork loin, and then we'll get this all off and get it inside. So let's open her up, spritz it one more time. As you can see, we've got a great color on it. The bark's fantastic, and that helps from the vinegar and spritzing it too. Spritz it all up, and then we're going to add these mushrooms in. And we're just going to set these mushrooms right around this pork loin. As you can see, before I put this last one on, she's done an excellent job making these mushrooms up with some cream cheese and some cheddar. So these are going to go great with our pork loin. We're just going to close the grill up again, and once our pork loin hits the internal temperature we're looking for, we'll pull everything off, wrap the pork loin up, take it inside, and we'll be ready to eat. Well, it's finally done. Our pork loin's all ready to go. We let it rest for about an hour after we got it done. Let these mushrooms finish up what they needed to do on the grill. As you can see, it turned out beautiful. Just to recap a little bit on what we did. We just rubbed it down with some mustard to give it a binder, put some brown sugar over top of it, rubbed that in, and then we sprinkled our Killer Hogs, the barbecue rub, over top of that. After the 1 hour mark, we started spritzing with some apple juice and apple cider vinegar. Once we got to about 160 internal temperature, we pulled it off and wrapped it up. Right before we finish it up, we set these nice mushrooms on the grill. These are just some portobello mushrooms that were filled with some garlic and herb cream cheese and then topped with some mild cheddar cheese. So we won't keep you waiting much longer. Let's get it cut open and see what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, it's beautiful, it's nice and tender, it's juicy, it just pulls apart. We have a nice little smoke ring on it. It's not a very dark smoke ring because with this apple mash we don't get a dark smoke. It's not a heavy smoke. It's nice and light, and that's what makes it great for pork loin. It makes it great for fish, any other type of light meat, desserts, anything like that that you don't want a heavy smoke on. You just want a little bit of smoke flavor, but you like the sweetness with it. The apple mash is perfect. Check them out at our store or at cookinpellets.com. They've turned out awesome for our pork loin, and I think this is going to be a great pork loin for dinner tonight. The flavor's unbelievable with that Killer Hogs Z barbecue rub. And after spritzing it down with some of that apple cider vinegar, it's got a little bit of tang to it, but the sweetness really comes out in it. You can taste some smoke, but it's not overbearing. I think this is a big success for us. So we'll see you guys back next time. Thanks for watching.